In the last few hours, the race format has been dramatically torn up and thrown out of the window. A huge low-pressure front is heading this way from across the Atlantic. And so the race organisers have decided this. The IMOCAs will not start today. They're staying in dock until the storm passes. And that has huge implications for the fleet, for whom this is also part of the Vendée Globe qualification process. We have Pip Hare, who was due to race today. She will join us in the studio to go into all the implications and what it will mean to the class. Then we have the C40s and the the Class 40s and the Ocean 50s, as we watch our French colleagues from France 3 reporting live from the start boat. Those two classes, the 40s and the Ocean 50s, they will be starting today, but they will then head to Lorient, where they will take shelter from the storm. The Ultims that we are looking at here with Gitana are the only class whose plans are unchanged. They will start the race, they will head off to Martinique. Start format also changed. Gone is the mark at Etretat, close to the iconic white cliffs where the fans gather to cheer the boats on. The fleet will still race along a shortened coastal course, though, before heading to the Cherbourg Peninsula, eventually heading out to the out of the channel down towards the Bay of Biscay. But before all that, let's enjoy this staggered start. The Ultims are going to go first, with the two other classes following at 12-minute intervals. And there is the weather that we are being warned about. You can see how angry and purple it's looking.
That's right. The key thing is these two systems amalgamating and come into the Cape Finisterre. Forecast is seeing winds up to 80 knots off Cape Finisterre late on Monday, and 10 to 12 metre seas.
The Transat Jacques Vabre 2023 is underway. The Ultims facing a course then of 7,500 nautical miles, and I wonder just how many twists and turns await them over the next week to 10 days before they cross the finish line in Martinique. And it is looking absolutely glorious out there. A few hours ago we had torrential rain, we had leaden skies, but it's cleared up wonderfully for our cameras. The reefed sail is telling of the sort of conditions that they're expecting and the conditions that are out there at the moment. We're currently looking at something like 25 knots.
Maybe just a little bit less, but it is expected to go up to 25 knots, 30 in the gusts tonight. L'Azétique
with Francois Gabard on boards. Won this race in 2015, just missed out to Charles Caudrelier in the last edition of the race in 2021. Marchand's did this race coming fourth 2 years ago in this very same boat with Yves Le Blébec. And we'll be switching backwards and forwards between the Ultims and the Ocean 50s. But those Ocean 50s now getting underway in 3.5 minutes time. So Coesio with Erwan Leroux as the main skipper, a 3 times winner of the TJV, but second in
Look at that start. I mean,
event.
that is that's pretty close given the conditions.
So the Ocean 50s are away in this 2023 Transat Jacques Vabre, and look how reefed the that sail is on Realities.
Main tidal situations there on the Pointe de Raz and then into Lorient. Breeze should lighten, but I mean, look at these images. You just see the strength of the wind.
Unbelievable.
This is
Primonial,
yes, Seb Rogue, who's got so much experience in the class. Very, very much life on the edge, and we're only a matter of minutes into this race.
And what's interesting as we watch these stunning shots from our choppers, that the Ocean 50, you know, you were talking about the Pro Sailing Tour, which is what they normally compete in. You know, it's mostly about close contact racing, a lot of careful starts, tactics, but the TJV is normally long-term strategy, you know, preserving the boat, getting it across the Atlantic. But in a way, they're doing a shorter race first, aren't they, to Lorient. So it'll be interesting to see how their mindset has changed and if we're going to see them push it harder.
And as we say, we expect the course to be altered, to be shortened. The primary focus is for the race direction, other than obviously safety and having an equitable race, is trying to make sure that all the classes arrive into Martinique round about the same time window to maximise the spectacle for the finish. And they're looking at reality, and it stands to reason that, of course, yesterday we had an announcement that there will be no spectator boats below a certain size, so it's all big powerful boats which are on the water today.
There you can see just how hard they are working. Luke Berry and Antoine Joubert there. So we should be now enjoying the start of the IMOCAs, but that's not to be because of a storm front coming in across the Atlantic. They are staying ashore. They will head off in a few days' time. It's a shame, it's disappointing, but it's good news for us because it means that Pip Hare, who should be about to cross the start line, is instead in the commentary box, where it is, I have to say, much warmer and much drier. Pip, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Yeah, I've just kind of run up the dock to get here, and it is pretty blustery out there.
It is. We've been enjoying some stunning images from the water. A lot of reefed sails, and you can't blame them, can you?
No, I mean, I have to say, from here, it looks pretty spectacular. If I had to choose, I think I'd rather be in an old team. The Ocean 50s as ever look like wild little go-karts, don't they? But certainly we're not going to see much sail on anybody's boats today.
For the uninitiated, you know, just let's talk about this weather front. You know, how bad is it? What does it actually mean, you know, when you're out there? Why? Some people would say, well, hang on a minute. These boats are built to go round the world in all sorts of conditions. It's the Vendée Globe, you know, that's the ultimate target. So how can this be any worse than that?
Well, the problem is that kind of on races like the Vendée, once we're out into the ocean, we get to choose our path through these weather systems or around them. And actually, the boats are so fast now that we can manoeuvre away from weather systems. However, whenever you encounter a race start or even a race finish, then geography defines your course, and you cannot avoid these weather systems. At this time of year, a weather front coming up the western approaches and into the Biscay is relatively normal, but this one that's coming in Wednesday is particularly aggressive. It will have a big sea state behind it, and as it approaches Finisterre, where the continental shelf is, that means huge breaking waves and damage to boats, damage to people, and it's just not a good idea to head out into that.
A great start, a terrific start from the Class 40s, and that boat there is Coram right at the front, speeding away. Everial also with a good start.
That's Erwan Le Draulec, who won the second stage of the Les Sables Horta Les Sables race in the summer.
Cedric Chateau, Guillaume Pirouel on Sogistran behind them.
That's right, a brand new boat. Cedric Chateau and Guillaume Pirouel, very much the local heroes here, both from Le Havre and from the Normandy League.
And some of the boats just crossing the start line now with such a large fleet in these conditions. You can't blame them for just staying out of trouble.
Left there, just in the middle, is Xavier Macaire, who is also one of the former Figaro racers. Such an exodus out of the Figaro class into Class 40, primarily because for sponsors there's more glamour in doing these ocean races like the Route de Rhum, like this Transat Jacques Vabre. Once they get into the, once the tide changes, we can imagine them being down on the French coast trying to dodge the tide. But at the moment, a great start, and of course a record-sized fleet with the 44 boats.
Keep an eye out also for the British pair on board Tequila, Alistair Richardson, Brian Thompson.
That's right. I mean, they're lying 5th on the Class 40 rankings. I mean, we have them in the real dark horse in this fleet. It's a newer generation boat, which they brought back from the Route de Rhum. Did the Caribbean 600, did the Les Sables, Horta Les Sables, I think. But you can see how these scows work. It's like, described to me as like a powder ski for those of you who ski. There's so much more lift in the bow. The pip, this is making you want to be out there in a Class 40, isn't it?
Oh, doesn't it look spectacular? I mean, those long shots from the helicopter of them all streaking along. Yeah,
but I mean, you can see that, you can absolutely see the scows at work, can you?
Yeah, you can. I mean, I'm really surprised actually from this view. You can see with this angle, wind angle, how lifty they are.
So this mark close to the coast has given us some real drama, and look at Coram almost going over there, and Café Joyeux also coming up, and Coram,
I think it is.
Coram,
life forward, Marc Lepesquieu and Renault.
Its bow is stuck on the stern, I think, or was briefly, of the boat in front.
Are you getting it again, I think? The Curium certainly seems to be off and running.
Ah, that's Movember. So it was Movember that had that trouble with Corium.
So I think by the looks of what happened was because of this sea state, I think when the boats tack, if they get a wave on the bow, it just absolutely stops them. And I think the one boat tacked in front of the other, and then all of a sudden the crossing distances were not the same because one stopped, and I mean, it really looked like he mounted the other boat. I mean, that's devastating.
Let me just tell you about this boat. It's a great story. Basil Buisson is the co-skipper on board Google Chrome. He's an e-sailor. He's a gamer, and he won through a competition that saw him beat 10,000 others for a place on this boat. So at the age of 33, this guy has got himself a place on a Class 40. Kieran Leboyne is the skipper alongside him. So we're looking on board Credit Mutuel, the favourite, and in a good position right now near the front of the fleet. Ian Lipinski and Antoine Carpentier looking to repeat his success in 2021. Both of them involved in sailing the boats at the moment, and you can't really see them getting much rest between now and when they arrive in Lorient, given the conditions and how tough it is out there. Is this Tequila? I think that might be our first view of Brian Thompson.
We can just see one of them is out of the cockpit doing something on the leeward side there, maybe checking the lead on sheets or something like that. And you can see everybody is life jacketed up today, fully dry sealed life jackets. They'll have harness lines on as well.
One of the leading boats of the fleet, the Pirelli boat, Alla Grande, with Ambrogio Beccaria and Nicholas Andrio on board.
Which I believe is Italian for all good.
Alla Grande.
Alla Grande.
Go big. And they are, look at that, dramatic action from the waters off Le Havre. Alla Grande Pirelli looking in good position, as is Credit Mutuel, as is Tequila with the two Brits on board. And so those are our leading boats from the Class 40. The Ultims are go as well, and the Ocean 50s, they are away. They are heading towards Lorient, as are the Class 40s. The Ultims making their way straight to Martinique as they escape from that storm that's coming in from the Atlantic. The IMOCAs, we hope, will get away over the next 3 or 4 days, and we will be able to bring you all that coverage on our social networks if you follow the Transat Jacques Vabre. So Pip Hare has left us to go off and just check on her boat. Andy Robertson, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the race, and we will leave you with these images of the Class 40s heading towards Lorient to escape the storm that is about to hit us from the Atlantic. Hope you've enjoyed it. From me, Alec Wilkinson, and from Andy Robertson, it's goodbye.